is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, everyone, to the stream. And boy, oh boy, just what an incredible week for our favorite president and our greatest president, Donald Trump. And we're going to talk about a lot of it and break it down. And of course, I'll be taking your calls on the next stream about all of that. But, you know, all these never-Trumpers and Democrats and media lowlives that were accusing Trump of taking a bribe, what I'm going to break down on the next stream in detail is why Trump took the jet from Qatar. And first of all, it is the biggest deal Boeing has ever made, and he brokered it. And also, Qatar is making a major investment into the U.S. economy, and I'm going to break down the details of that on the next stream because I have them, but not in the car with me. But I'll go over them when I open up at 6 a.m. It's a really amazing thing what Trump did. He knew about this Boeing deal and the investment that Qatar was going to make in the United States before we even knew about the gift of the jet that Qatar was giving the United States, right? He knew it all. And with all these people accusing him of these terrible things, taking bribes, all these ridiculous things, Ben Shapiro all over him about it like a jerk. He kept the secret. He didn't come out and defend himself. And let the world find out when the deal was signed yesterday. And of course, no apologies from all these jerks like Ben Shapiro and others that were attacking him for accepting the jet on behalf of the United States. And it shows how it shows a lot of things about Trump. It shows that he just doesn't care what the media say, what the never-Trumpers say, what the Democrats say. He's not trying to convince any of these haters of anything. He's not trying to sell himself or his agenda to them. And it also showed the amazing amount of patience he has. I mean, how many of you would spend 3 or 4 days having the entire American fake news media on national television accuse you of taking a bribe, a pay-for-play, and you'd be able to keep your mouth shut? Not many people would have that ability to do that, but President Trump absolutely does and did and showed it. And it was really a big troll he did on the haters out there, wasn't it? I was very impressed with it. What President Trump did was amazing. So that's one thing. And then another thing I'm going to highlight more because no one in the media is hitting on it. You know, this trip that President Trump made to the Middle East, I'm going to tell you, this is the greatest international trip any president of the United States has ever taken. It really is. Can you think of one that would equal it? Because what he has done, right? What he's done is made relations in an area that is always in a state of conflict. Yeah, Trump said yesterday that they're going to paint it red, white, and blue, and he is going to fly on it. He is going to fly on the jet. And they're going to paint it red, white, and blue. Like all the new Air Force Ones are going to be painted in the future. Welcome, everyone. Yes, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. So he took the jet as part of the deal. Exactly, Gorilla Balls. The jet was never the point. The order was the same. And plus, Qatar's making a huge investment into the United States, too. That was the point of everything. It's amazing. I wouldn't have been able to keep my mouth shut all week while people are accusing you of taking bribes as a public official. Biden actually takes bribes. Right? Well, it's the jet, which will be in a place of honor, whether it's at the Trump Presidential Museum or stays a permanent part of the Air Force One fleet, whatever. It's a symbol of friendship between the United States and Qatar. And that's a big deal. It's an incredibly big deal. You know, it's what I've been talking about this week. These old alliances are worthless. Why are we, Europe does nothing but rip us off, suck off us. They're like welfare queens in Europe. The Middle East, where there's endless conflict, which these relationships will help end, these are very wealthy countries that aren't out to rip us off like Europe. Well, this was not an Israel trip. He may go to Israel on another trip. He can't go to every place. But this is, I cannot think, and maybe you have an example of a president, a sitting president, going on a diplomatic trip around the world. When was one as productive as this? I can't think of one that's even close. When this is all over, we may become an OPEC nation, the United States. We have more oil in America than Saudi Arabia. No, give me an example of a president traveling abroad like this. He can run for a third term. Absolutely. President Trump can run for a third term. What trip did Eisenhower take that was the equivalent of this? I'm not asking when presidents have taken trips. When have they taken a trip like this? Because you're dealing with an area of the country that's filled with people we have very rocky relationships with, very wealthy countries. No, nothing like this. These other presidents, they go to other countries, and what do? They give them American taxpayer money. President Trump takes a international diplomatic trip, and he brings billions and trillions back to America. No, what Eisenhower did was counterproductive. The United States was the #1 producer of oil at that point. And opening up the oil in Saudi Arabia that you're talking about with Eisenhower did not help us. It hurt America. Big difference there. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you'd like to support my channel, become a member or a Patreon supporter. That'd be either one of those. These other presidents, they go somewhere and they pledge billions of dollars to these other countries. President Trump is the only president I know of that's gone to other countries that's bringing money back. It's a big difference. Big difference. It's true. Europe is nothing but just a tourist trap continent that rips off the United States. Yep. Race car Kevin, you're right about that. He certainly is. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, this was very exciting what the president did. I've never seen a president make economic deals like this. Never. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. The weapons in Ukraine, that was legislation passed by Congress. Exactly. Sick of the Europeans. They got us in 2 world wars. British intelligence lied and got us in the war in Iraq. They lied about WMDs. Knowingly lied, British intelligence. Nothing good comes out of Europe. Nothing good comes out of Europe. Mm-mm. Nothing. See, Trump goes to other countries and he brings things back to the United States. The other countries' other presidents have visited. You know, like Nixon going to China. How did that help us? Nixon screwed us opening up China. Right? No, Christopher, on my next stream, I'll be in the studio, Christopher. I take live calls, and you can call me on the air and call me out. Opinion on shoes. What kind of bizarre question is that? The EU has dissolved Europe. Europe's destroyed themselves with the EU. Ask away? No, it doesn't mean I'm going to answer. What bribe? There was no bribes. Just a great financial deal. Billions and billions of dollars for Boeing. Mm-hmm. Europe's always fighting amongst themselves. I mean, think about it. Every president, whether it's a meeting at the White House or a trip abroad, all they do is say, okay, we're going to give $500 million or $10 billion to this country, to that country. We're going to rebuild Europe. We're going to do this. You never see a president do what Trump is doing, and that's bring massive investments to this country. The other ones just give away our taxpayer money. It's insane. It's completely insane. Mm-hmm. It truly is. Well, the liberals will never be happy with Trump. Trump can do nothing right. If he cured cancer and AIDS, they'd be pissed off at him and tell you it was bad. You know, there's nothing Trump can do to get their support. And he knows that. He doesn't try to convince these people of anything. Well, what Trump is doing is going to end up putting China out of business if they don't play ball. Right? I mean, that's it. And these new alliances that President Trump is forming. Now, obviously, we have relationships with Qatar and Saudi Arabia, but this is different. It's a bond. Well, the tariffs actually, they obviously work. UK caved. Yeah. I'm behind on my coffee. So, yeah, they open up in about 20 minutes. Canada will cave. Don't worry about Canada. They need us.